for the lone wolves, we're going to do an instructional video. We're going to put on the seat, the passenger seat, and the sissy bar. Now all three, there are 3 different items you need to get, which we found out the hard way. There are 3 separate purchases to make up one thing in the end. So let's go check out what we got. So with 3 separate purchases, this is what you get in all to make the back seat and the back seat rest. So over here is the seat itself. Here's a foot peg for the right hand side, and this is the foot peg for the near side. And of course, this is a very important part all in itself also. You'll see why. Now over here, here's the backrest and the hardware that goes with it. Now this is actually a separate piece all by itself. It's a separate purchase. So if you think you're getting the backrest with the seat, you're wrong. This is separate. So now we'll start with installation. Alright, now here's the tools we're going to need to get this installation going on. First, of course, we have just a simple toolkit. We'll need a Phillips screwdriver and, of course, metric wrenches, since it is a Japanese bike. So off we go. Okay, first we're going to start with taking the seat off. You'll need your key. Now push in and turn. And that'll take the seat off. First, we're going to remove the screw here, 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 and here to take out the battery tray. Alright, to install the back seat, first we're going to remove these 2 bolts right here. One is here, and the other one is right here. And to do that, I'm going to grab my standard Allen wrench set, grab a 7/32. Start with this one. First we'll get the seat on. This piece goes directly behind the driver's seat. All right. Next, we're going to install the right-hand foot peg, or the also known as the far side. So I'm going to grab the 1/2 inch, put it right on this nut. And there we go.
Alright, the next piece you're going to need is called the left side bracket. The tools you will be needing to use to replace this is a hexagon key, which is 8 in metrics, and a flathead screwdriver of some sort, or something that has a flat tip on it, like this. And you're going to need this piece also. I'll go in more details about this piece later on. And if you will come up this way following me, that piece will go right here. It's a B-side fender. The way you need to pop it off is going to be right here. You have 8 millimeters right here. the hex. These have to come out, but you also have a push pin here. You have another push pin down here. Then you have about 1, 2, 3 more down here. So in all, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, 6, 7 things all together that must be pulled off to be able to pull this down, and this part also. All right, first of all, easiest thing to get out of this part right here, go ahead and grab your metric 8. Sometimes these are sometimes a little bit difficult, but not always. Wind up and untwist it. All right, so as you've seen, it is not really that very difficult to pull this off. You do need to be careful because all of this is plastic, very easily broken. And as you can see, what I was saying, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's actually 6 pieces that go on it, or 7. Let me recount that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. but they're very easy to pop loose. The biggest difference between them though, as it says on here, cover, left fender, B-side. That's the part. As it says right here, cover, fender, B-side. Biggest difference, this is your standard one. This is what comes on it if you don't pre-order the Honda with the back seat on it. This one you must order separately. The prices can vary. I can't give you an exact price. It comes with everything else, all this and everything. As you can see, there's a cut right here, so the bracket can actually fit in there snugly. Where the brackets are going to be put. The bracket's going to come under here, right here, and you can put the bracket up right here. That's why that cut's in there, so the bracket can sit right on it and you don't have any issues. All right, as I said before, this is the standard one that comes with it. This is what comes with it when you first buy it. It's the easiest thing to take apart. It does have some difficulties. You do need the proper tools. Again, just to review the tools that I used personally, I used the 8 metric, which is right here, and I used screwdriver with a magnetized tip. You can just put it on there and just slip it in like that. A flathead. You don't really need the tools for anything that you're doing at the moment. You're just using your hands and a lot of patience. So let's get this installed, shall we? Again, this one has the cut. This does not. Make sure you have every single parts of the pieces before you start the project, or you're going to end up with a lot of upsetness. All right, let's go. You're going to slip it back in here the way you pulled it out. Easy, pretty good. Slip it right there. Now you can do this standing or sitting. I'm just going to do it standing. It may seem a little difficult at first, but you just need to know exactly where all pieces are. So, I know this, I'm going to go right here. So what I'm going to try to do is do this right here. Go ahead and get these small pieces in there. If you do need to use tools, you can, but I would not recommend it. It just takes patience to get it in there. Definitely be cutting some of this. This is the last piece you want to put on. You want to make sure everything else is fitting in there better. That goes in there. There. And there it goes. It's snapped in now. Then if I was you, I'd go ahead and grab that pin that we seen earlier. Move this out of the way. Make sure it fits in the hole pretty easily. That's pretty snug. And then take the pin, and voila, that part's done. And then go ahead and make sure nothing else is damaged on it. This may take a minute. You can do it before you put the bracket. You can put the bracket on first. I just think it'd be easier just to do it this way. Come on. Had a little bit of a struggle, but that's just because it's a new bike. So, all right, that's basically it, other than having to put the bracket in. All right, the next job is to put the actual bracket on. When it comes to you, it should be put together like this. You should not have to be putting this together, but different places send the stuff out different ways. Anyways, As you can see, this is the last part other than putting everything back together. That's where the bracket goes. That's the bracket that holds the peg, and it makes it look pretty slick. As you can see right here, it does not look like it's much difference at all. It fits in there the same. Looks like it's open, but it's not. Everything is clipped together, so it will protect anything that's inside of here. Only difference really between it, as I shown earlier, is you look down in there, and there you go. There's the cut for the bracket to fit in it. Okay, let's get this installed, shall we? First, you'll just sit down, make sure you're at a good distance. Standing up is recommended so you can actually see what you're doing. And just slide it up. As you can see, it slides really easily right up in there because of that cut. Go into this, run this up. To start out with, I would hand tighten it first. Make sure you're at where you need to be. This right here can be an inconvenience, but it's not that hard. Just move them out of the way. So you can put the next one in. Make sure that it's actually going there pretty easily. Make sure you can hand tighten it. See, my hands are free, so that means it's held on there pretty good. And on this job right here, you literally just need one item to do it. I would recommend hand tightening as much as you can. Before you go to using the wrench. It just takes more time. Yeah, make sure it fits in there well though. I personally will just tighten it as much as you possibly can. Don't over tighten it, so in case you have to replace it or remove it. Now this one will be a lot faster and a lot easier since I have more room to work with. That's me when I use my hands to really tighten it down as much as I can until I can't anymore. One there, and you just tighten. There you go. You have all brackets attached. That side. And this side. Check it, make sure it's not loose. That's pretty much it on that one, other than putting everything together. Alright, so close to the last part of installing the pegs and stuff is putting everything back together. On this one, you literally will only need one tool. That's a Phillips head screwdriver. You can get smaller ones if you need to. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. We're going to put the camera down here. There's two holes for these two pieces to go into. If you don't get it in there, it's going to be a headache to get it back together. You can see the hole right there. There's no hole in the side. That's where these two pieces need to go in for it to slip in there. While you're doing this, do watch out for these wires. They do have covers on them. They can take a lot of damage, but try not to squeeze them. It can be difficult sometimes to try and slip this down in there with friction rubbing against friction. Put my tool down. You're gonna need your hands for this. Just like it came out, you're gonna be as easy as possible, but make sure that it sets down in there. Very important. There's these side pieces right here that are wobbling because that's where that top screw goes, and you need to line that up with that. Pop it back in there. Recommend take these out so it makes it easier. Make sure it lines up. Make sure the bottom ones are lined up. Do it this way. Push that over just a little bit. Put it in the hole. Line it up best you can. Put it in the hole. And there we go. Two screws. Down in there. You can just kind of set them on there. I do these first. You can do either one first. I just do these first so I know that the side plastic, the sides here, do not flop around while I'm trying to fix stuff. Push on a little bit just to make sure it has pressure to grab. I ain't going nowhere. As you see, if you don't keep your eye on it, things can pop out. Turn just enough so I can grab. I ain't going nowhere. And the last two screws, this. If it's not grabbing, then you might want to look at it, make sure that it's lined up correctly. You may have to push a little bit on it. Make sure you check the wires, that they're not being damaged. On there. There it goes. It's grabbing now. You just need to tighten in just enough that it's snug. Don't have to over twist it. I could strip it out. And go. And you just check the other one, make sure it's just as tight. Okay. This usually comes with it. There's not a lot of tools in it. There's a few that you can use for emergency. But personally, I just recommend you going out and buying your own. Some of these will fit some parts, some won't. But at least you have something just in case. Don't worry, they're tools. They can take a little bit of a force, not much. And if you do not have, paper insurance or anything, you could also put that down here as well. It's wide enough, it's closed off. You can put all kinds of stuff down here if you need to. Put tools in. You just take these two right here. Make sure they go underneath this right here. Put the seat back on. I personally, you can slam it on there or whatever, but mostly I just push the key back in, as we shown at the very beginning of the video. Push it back down on there, make sure it locks. And there you go. We got the first part done. We have one other part coming, and that will be right after this. But we're gonna do a quick walk around to show you what we're done with right now. This right side peg, easiest part to put together. The seat, which is also really easy to put on. And then, slightly more difficult, but not too much if you have the proper tools, the final part, right here. And that's how you put the passenger pegs on. And we're gonna show y'all how to do the back seat area right here. Thanks.
Next, we're going to install the backrest. It did come with some hardware, but it seems that none of it is going to work for this application, so I'll use the original hardware that came with the bike. Now also, here's the pad, the back pad, that comes separately. It's a separate purchase, even though it goes directly on here. Ours did not come with any hardware, so I went through my junk drawer and I happened to find a couple of bolts that are going to work for this. So I'll go ahead and install that now. With these bolts, they're a hex wrench 5. Maybe anyone else ordering this could get the hardware to it, but mine just didn't come with it. Alright, with that snugly on there, I'm going to take off the original hardware, which is going to be the 6mm. now we're ready to slide this over. Be careful not to scrape any of the paint off. There we go. Right in place. Alright, let's grab a bolt. I'm gonna cut this out. And there we go. Looks like we're ready now, almost ready to ride now.